In this corner, we have a mitochondria because he's a powerhouse, the Note 10 Plus. And in this corner, we have the small but mighty mouse, the Galaxy S20 FE.
The Galaxy FE versus the Note 10 Plus, head to head, battle to the death. Well, not death, but a good fight. We'll be using a rating of 1 to 5 androids. Isn't he just saying? The Galaxy Note 10 Plus starts off with a gigantic screen real estate with 6.8-inch 1440 by 3040 dynamic AMOLED display, completely covered with a glass back and front, both being Gorilla Glass 6 along with an aluminum frame. The S20 FE comes behind with a 6.5-inch 1080 by 2400 Super AMOLED display, with the body of the phone being made with Gorilla Glass 3 on the front display, plastic backing, and the same aluminum frame. Now, even though the S20 FE released almost a year later than the Note 10, it's lacking the stronger Gorilla Glass display and only running a 1080p screen. Even with the lower resolution on the S20, it does support 120Hz refresh rate, unlike the Note 10. The downside, apart from the many colors of the backside with the Aura Glow on the Note 10, is a gigantic fingerprint magnet. For the design, it comes down to the slightest difference, but I'm going to have to give the Note 10 Plus 5 out of 5 androids and the S20 FE 4 out of 5. I have driven both of these phones for a good bit of time now, and I gotta say, this one is not close at all. The S20 FE comes standard with a 4500 mAh battery, and the Note 10 Plus just has a 4300 mAh battery. What is interesting, however, is the fact that I believe that the Note 10 Plus has better battery optimization than the S20 FE. No jokes, even with a slightly smaller battery, the Note 10 lasted pretty much all day, even with fairly regular use. Coming home from being at work or school all day with 40% battery, the S20 FE is just a bit lacking. After all day with regular use, the S20 FE would have about 10 to 20% battery life left after the same daily schedule. Next we have the speed category, and don't worry, these phones won't run off, but they do sprint pretty fast. The Note 10 Plus is running the Snapdragon 655 processor, and the S20 FE is using the Snapdragon 665 processor. Very little difference between them, but the S20 does have a slightly newer iteration. The Note 10 Plus has 12GB of RAM, while the S20 FE comes with either 6 or 8GB. On the Note side of things, the Note 10 Plus runs very smooth throughout the day with normal use. No delays or stuttering while switching between multiple apps, and even while playing Call of Duty Mobile while rendering a video. The S20 FE is lacking with slight stutters from switching back and forth from different apps and loading up the RAM. Under normal circumstances, however, you would rarely see the stutters. The S20 and the Note 10 does have a great job playing even graphically intensive games like Call of Duty Mobile, and with no issues whatsoever. The Note 10 Plus takes a good 5 out of 5 androids, while the S20 takes just a few 3 out of 5 androids. With the in-display fingerprint sensor present in both of these devices, it makes one-handed use not entirely impossible. Because the S20 is slightly taller and slimmer than the Note 10, the S20 is actually better for one-handed use or anyone with smaller hands. Even better is that Samsung has added one-handed mode with the One UI 2.0, making the great one-handed mode even better. The Note 10 Plus and the S20 both come equipped with a triple camera setup. The Note 10 Plus comes with a 12 megapixel wide and telephoto lens, 16 megapixel ultra wide lens, and a 10 megapixel front camera, able to record 4K at 60 FPS with the main camera and even with the front camera. The S20 FE comes with a 12 megapixel wide lens, 8 megapixel telephoto, 12 megapixel ultra wide, and a humongous 32 megapixel front camera, with the same capabilities to record 4K at 60 FPS with the main and front cameras. I love the ultra wide lens on both of these devices, but I gotta hand it to Samsung. The S20 takes some really good pictures. As you can see with some of the pictures I took on my trip to the beach and just of my dog in the backyard, you can see that the colors just pop and nothing is overexposed. Even with the sun in the shot, you can see that the image is still perfectly exposed. Samsung's portrait mode has gotten some major upgrades, but it isn't just perfect yet. Not to say it isn't already fantastic. Most of the time the portrait mode doesn't leave any space or gaps between the background and the subject, but very rarely, as you can see here if I zoom in, you can see it wasn't quite able to catch the edge of my hair. But if you actually hold the phone steady, then the portrait mode would work just as intended. The Note 10 Plus is just similar. The only difference is that I would like to point out is that the colors are a bit more muted than the S20 and the portrait mode is a little less polished. But that's really why people make newer versions of their devices to essentially upgrade. This will be a short category, but what it basically boils down to is this. The Note 10 Plus comes with a stylus and the S20 FE does not. The Note 10 is expandable storage up to 1TB and the S20 does not. The S20 is not cheap at $900 and the Note 10 is cheap enough at this point at just $600. The Galaxy S20 FE got a total score of 21 androids, the Note 10 Plus got a total score of 25 androids. It was a very close battle, but the elder has reigned supreme. Respect your elders, kids, because they might come beat you in your own game. What other phones try to pit against each other next?